Traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. Guys, as you're tuning in, you know the drill. You know the drill. As you are tuning in, hit that thumbs up button and let's get ready to rock and roll. Guys, as you're seeing from the title, Max Loss, your fearless leader, relentless trader, is in the red today. And it seemed like today was just a choppy day. A lot of the guys in the Discord even starting off red. But a lot of them also being able to come back to green with some other stocks later in the day. I left out, didn't really come back, so ended red. And actually, you know what? We took one trade. We'll talk about this trade here. $322 loss we took after the stream. ASNS. This was the hot stock, by the way, around 11 to let's say 12:30. But yeah, your fearless leader, relentless trader in the red. And let's talk about some of these big red trades that we had. Starting off with a $500 loss coming straight from the archives. So CYTO, we're down 48. We attempted to trade over here around, let's say 937 area for a potential break of VWAP. In and out a couple of times, not quite seeing the volume build up. It finally broke out this time around, but it doesn't seem like it was too smooth, right? Because we had a nice high point, we came back down, and then it went, but not bad nevertheless, right? Good move. And so it pulls back to VWAP again, and I thought we were going to hold up nicely here. The last big flush loss I took was under the same type of context, and this was like a few weeks ago, back during the banking crisis. So this thing pulls back. I'm in at 34, and I'm starting to realize, okay, maybe I'm in too high. Let's cut that flat, and I'm putting a limit order here, 32. And I started to think it was bottoming, but I knew it could potentially still go lower. So I added right there, and I'm willing to add again here. There it is. I'm adding again. Almost went up to 10,000. I'm like, okay, let's not get too heavy. And watching for the nice bounce back to 40. Look at this thing come down right here, right there. I'm like, nope, I'm out of here for 24. And then just like that, down 500. My average was about 32. We took about a 7-cent loss, 6-cent loss. 7,500 shares in the blink of an eye. Boom, 450 gone. So not good, but the potential and the reward was there, right? My average is 32. If we can get back to 42 at 750, and of course, being that the market was in such a hot cycle here, and hopefully still is these last couple of weeks, I was expecting it to go to potentially 150. So I was thinking, hey, if this is strong over those highs of 42, I get a nice 15 to 20 cent winner, risking just about 5 to 7 cents. And so, the trade idea wasn't bad, but man, were the stocks weaker today on some of these areas, right? So that, that took us from down maybe $50, $80 to down, $5.50 on the day. And that was around 9:55 a.m. So, I did start this day off well into the green. I was up, I was red, let's say I was red 300, then green about 7, and then flat again. And you know what, let's bring back the archive. Let's see, I'm not going to show too many trades just to be fair to the students, but SNGX, we're up over 1,000 at one point at least on this thing. Now we had some losses, so a little disappointing, and we were getting dialed in right here. And these are of course, we'll look at it over here on screen. These are the patterns that we know and love, right? SNGX, we start off with a nice 3-bar play and bottoming wick. I missed the low of the wick, but I saw it as it was curling up. I'm like, you know what, man, we might have to get involved in this thing. And we can zoom this out a little bit for more context. Yeah. So as the 1-minute candle, is inching up, we got a high of 78. Right there, I started taking trades, and I'm buying aggressively on this candlestick. Let's see, how many shares of volume did we push? Probably at least 40,000 or more on this candlestick. So 4,500, you see 21,000 there. This is just from me buying over and over. Why is it doing this? Well, it's not sticking. But anyhow, yeah, I'm just buying, trying to get aggressive with size. 6,000 shares in, back out, trying to get some. It paid off, right? We got pretty green pretty quickly. But unfortunately, when the pullback started, And, Relentless Trader, I'm trying to buy right here, trying to get, the bounce, because I'm assuming, okay, quick pullback, almost like a small flag, and then it attempts to break VWAP again eventually, but that was not the case. And I was hoping this could get to the pre-market highs of 6 if it was really strong. We didn't, we didn't even come close. So good money was made. So, red on the day, I think even red on the stock potentially. SNGX, was this the first trade of the day? Let's come on down here. No, SVRE. So we were red SVRE 300. And, this one was a trader where it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, right? The stock ends up going up, flushes down, but then curls back up. So it had me thinking, man, maybe this thing wants to be on the stronger side. And, trying to buy a dip around, I believe, let's see, we had a high point of 30. I believe it might have been, low 20s, and it just flushed down, from 22 to 205. And I think I was down maybe like $80, and then we took like a, $220 loss, losing about 6 cents or so, maybe a little bit more on 3,000 shares. So I'd consider this scratch, right? The first $300, but it curls back up. In this area here, opportunity is gonna cost, because I do see it curling, and I noticed it around 20, like right here on this pullback. But I'm like, man, I don't know. The stock was so weak right here. I started to like, second guess. And at this time, you can see it's 9:37. CYTO was at VWAP around this time here. Was it over here? No, over here. Yeah, this was at VWAP the first time around. And this is where I was down to $48 initially, because I said, you know what, CYTO might just be the stronger stock out of these two, and it hasn't shown any weakness yet. Maybe this is the one, right? And unfortunately, that was not the case, right? We pulled back, we curled up, no breakout, and so this one ended up not doing anything. And as a result, I missed the opportunity on SVRE to potentially be in on this 1 minute candle to make the new high. Sometimes it's great when there's only just one stock moving, that way you can just be there watching at it and potentially get early entries. Because if you choose the wrong stock just like that, you're trading something that doesn't have the hot momentum, and not only can you end up red, but you can potentially end up missing out on green that you could have had. So it's like a double negative, right? Which are never good. So anyhow, we missed out on a break of 227 area, 230. It rips up nicely. It looked really good here, man. Volume increasing. This is exactly what we want to see. Lighter volume pullback, high volume on the next couple of candles, and it rips through. And I traded this, the backside essentially. It rips through 50. Nice move. And pulls back. I bought about 30 area, thinking it was a quick flush to then curl right back up. It kept going down. It hesitated around 25, then dropped down to like 18, 19, hesitated again, looked like it was going to curl back up a little bit, and then just kept flushing. So, a lot of us who tried to take the dips here, we took losses. It's really quite weird. I wish I knew the answer as to why some of them will work so well and others not working well. I mean, this was an incredible red to green. It broke down low of day. All right, broke down low of day, so it came back up again. Broke down low of day, thinking it was done. It started to curl back up, and it just kept curling. I mean, what an incredible move here. But happening in an area where I thought there was a lot of weakness. I didn't buy. But, if you're paying really good attention to it, you might have noticed the subtlety, because that's what it usually is at times. It's something very subtle you recognize, maybe a big bid, maybe just high volume, buying volume, and then you're long. And, if you are, this is probably one of the better trades of the day. This alone right here with some good size. You're in this, let's say I'm in this here with 10,000 shares. If I recognize, because these particular entries, I'm more comfortable. When the stock breaks down and can hold, I'm ready to add all the way up. And so, if you're in here, 5, 10,000 shares, for this type of trading that I'm doing here, this green candle here does the job for you. And just like that, boom, 2, 3K day, just like that in one candle. And, if SNGX, the fine line, sometimes you talk about the market being on your side. If this stock was to go to 6 and then more, I'm pretty sure today would have probably been another 5,000, 4 or 5,000, $6,000 day, because it was so smooth, man. It was so smooth and how it was moving clean. But that was all she wrote. And then to the depths. So yeah, red day here today. The stock that we lost on when we came back, ASNS. A lot of the guys did all right on this one. You'll see that yesterday it made a move. Started off with a little bit lighter volume very early. And then eventually, people really got dialed in. Right, so right here, we curled up. We got halted at 464. This thing resumes at 548. Rips to 6, gets halted, opens up at 7, and ends up going all the way to 958. Crazy. So today, right, if we zoom out today, can we, okay, there we go. So again, right after the live stream, I ended up leaving out, and wasn't quite paying attention to anything. I kind of thought, man, you know what, the day might be done because the momentum was so weak. And so, I did miss, where did I trade this thing? I think I missed most of this move. Show trade. Sometimes you got to be here present. You got to be here, and you got to be here, like locked in. Sometimes you leave, you miss stuff, right? You miss the beginning of the move, you miss the price action. So I came back and it's like, okay, it's halted. And this, I believe, was a second halt going up into new highs over 814. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch for the move. And, I'm watching for a dip and then a rip. Ultimately, I'm going to try to be way too aggressive here. And you'll note that I still had my small size. But the issue is that, this is a stock with lighter volume that's just been halting. So even 500 shares could be a little bit more hefty of size to start not knowing anything. If I'm seeing everything early and I know, okay, I'm accepting and knowing the risk fully, we know if we might want to mitigate and adjust. Like the loss itself doesn't bother me, but all I'm saying here is that I could have approached it a little differently. So maybe I could have been more patient ultimately. It opens up and nothing is happening. Usually when this is going on, I'm a little bit more passive. And buyers, a few, maybe not buyers, maybe a buyer or two, not a lot, started to come in. And I'm like, you know what? Let's take the long. Let's try and get another halt up. The moment I hit buy, the stock completely flushes down and goes to the depths into a halt down. And I lost 50 cents almost instantly. Okay. After that, I'm like, all right, you know what, man? Let's just call this day a max loss day and not force it, right? Let's not come back and try to, be a hero here if we're not connecting. And again, missing the earlier part of the move, you're just not quite in tune with it. So we took a 50-cent loss there. It's halting down. It's a false halt down, and then it rips up into a halt. And I'm like, come on, what's going on here, right? So, a little disappointing to see that it ultimately gave the move, but in such a weird way. So if you bought the false halt, another 3, 4, 5 seconds, we're in a halt up. And it goes up $1 a share, essentially. Or maybe even more. Low of 733 up to 895. So pretty big whip. It resumes and then flushes down and holds. It held VWAP nicely here. Lower volume pullback and then halted up, resumed, dip, ripped. This could have been a good area. But again, at that point I said, you know what, that's the day. So tomorrow, what should we expect? I will alter the game plan if it's necessary. And it's pretty typical for me to, give back profits on the last day of a hot market or undercapitalize on the first day of a hot market, right? So is today a day of rest where things are just a little choppy, but we're going to get back to hot momentum again? Or are we starting to slow down? Depending on who you ask, it's a very different kind of day, right? I mean, for me, I always like to look at it from the aspect of just, follow through. our leading stocks, if we look at our leading stocks, SVRE, high today of, 260, it's currently at 139. This was not good, right? We can remove the show trades to get to see the charts again. If we look at SNGX, pre-market went crazy, and I guess this was just a pre-market stock, really. From a low of about 180, high of 6, it's back at 220. This didn't hold up at all. NNOX is a good stock here to mention. This one was the only stock that did anything. And if we do get a little closer into the detail, we'll see that, it's not as great as it looks because volume, 60,000 shares. But it did its thing. I got to give the credit where credit is due. It did increase in volume a little bit over time. About 100,000 shares average here. And then about 140,000 shares average here before peaking at 200,000 and then, pulling back a bit. But this was good to see for momentum, but it's not the type of momentum we'd want to trade. In terms of quick scalps, this is best to just, hey, if you're paying attention to it early enough and you're watching it versus yesterday's high, that's back in this blue line. The best entry that I saw was this red candle here. So we broke over the level, right? We had a high point of 12.15. Yesterday's high around, or high point from just a few days ago, really, high of 11.68. We had a low of 11.70. This was the best area. But even for me, if I'm in here, I'm only holding for 2-3 minutes at most. So I'd probably be selling, right at 12.10. Maybe I made 40 cents, let's say 1,000 shares, 500 shares or something. I would have made anywhere from $200 to $400, which is not anything crazy. But if you're someone who holds for 30 minutes, an hour, or throughout the entire day, as long as you're not triggered out, if you're just scaling out and taking profits or trailing stops, you're probably still holding small size, or some of you guys in, selling all the way to the high of this move. And, that's how you can make $2 a share, $3 a share, and had a $1,500 day just with 500 shares or something, depending on if you would have took profits early or not. But yeah, this was an honorable mention. Besides that, though, you guys are seeing the charting here, man. Choppy. GFAI, another good one, another honorable mention. But, I was watching at it. I didn't think it was that good, man. I felt like the spread, there's a 10-cent spread at like every time, and just, I don't know, man. But, usually for that, the dips are what's good. But, not watching it closely enough, ultimately. Also in Discord kind of talking and stuff. So maybe we could have done a little bit better here, but just didn't feel super good about this one in terms of the price action. But did provide opportunity. So, ultimately we probably could have ended green. We were red 300 and green 700 and then red 5 and then red 9 essentially here. So tomorrow, depending on how things are, by day number 3 we'll know for sure. But tomorrow I'm going to be more conservative in the sense that I'm going to try to trade the A-quality opportunity early, and then I'm going to ease off, try to get fairly green and then just size down and protect the gains from there. Because again, 700, or 600, wherever I was at, is a pretty decent day, right? Much better than being down 900. But again, under the context of this last couple of weeks, nothing so far has told me to ever slow down whilst being up a couple $100. It's been, hey, the momentum is so hot, keep pushing till 2-3K or whatever, and then once it's finished, it's finished. Today was a very abrupt flush and panic selling, not quite getting up to the first, second, third, fourth pullback. So that'll do it for the recap. It's been RT, your favorite YouTuber and fearless leader. Guys, be sure to check out the links down below for MMU, right? Merciless Markets University. And of course, be sure to submit your video. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the recap, but I'll mention it tomorrow in the live stream. We're going to give away 2 free memberships. We're going to give away 2. We've decided, since it's Marcelo and myself, his channel and my channel, we'll just give away 2. So there'll be able to be 2 lucky traders and 2 lucky winners, all right? So be sure to come on the website, check it out. For those of you who don't care to, participate in this, if you're not too tight with your budget, right? Or let's say things are not tight, because for some people things are tight. We understand, right? We're all living in this world with this high inflation. But for everyone else, if you don't feel like you need to participate in this, you can use code manifest, which will give you 50% off the classes. All right. Yeah, this is our biggest sale, so be sure to get involved, and I'll catch you guys next time. So Momo Pro and the Discord are the other links. That's the scanning platform, Momo Pro, and of course the Discord is the chat room. All right. So I'll catch you guys later. It's been RT, and I am signing out.